Grab whatever you're using to clean your cabinets right now and check the label. If it says all-purpose cleaner or degreaser, put it down. That's the product responsible for about half the ruined cabinet finishes I've seen in 20-some years of doing this work. Here's what happens. Somebody notices their cabinets look dull, or there's a film of grease built up near the stove, and they reach for whatever's under the sink. Spray it on, wipe it off, and it looks great for about a day. Then the finish starts going cloudy, or it gets tacky like it never fully dries. A few weeks later, there are these faint streak marks that catch the light at certain angles, and no amount of wiping makes them go away. At that point, most people think the cabinets are just old. They're not. They were fine. The cleaner did that. I've walked into kitchens where the homeowners spent $4,000 on custom cabinetry and then wrecked the finish with a $9 bottle of cleaner from the grocery store. It's not their fault. Nobody tells you this stuff. The bottle doesn't say, "We'll haze your lacquer finish over time." It just says it cleans grease. And it does. That's true. It also strips whatever protective coating is sitting on top of your wood a little bit every time you use it. My grandfather ran a janitorial crew back when cabinet finishes were mostly lacquer and shellac, way less forgiving than what's out there today. He had one rule that I still follow on every single cabinet job. You clean for the finish that's there, not for the grease that's on it. Sounds backwards. It's not. The grease is easy. The finish is what you can't get back once it's gone. So, in this one, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening to your cabinets when they go from a little dirty to ruined, why it happens even when you think you're being careful, and the actual method, the one I use on real jobs, that gets them clean without touching the finish underneath. No streaks, no cloudiness, no stripped wood. Problem: kitchen cabinets take a beating that most other surfaces in your house never see. Every time you cook, you're putting a fine layer of aerosolized oil into the air, and it lands somewhere. The cabinets closest to the stove get hit the hardest. That's why you'll almost always see the worst buildup on the cabinet doors directly above or beside the range, and it tapers off the further you get from the heat source. The tricky part is how slowly it builds. Grease doesn't show up as a stain overnight. It shows up as a very thin, sticky film that's almost invisible at first. You run your hand across the cabinet and it feels slightly tacky, but it doesn't look dirty, so you don't do anything about it. Then 6 months go by. Now that thin film has been catching kitchen dust, cooking residue, and hand oils from opening the cabinet 100 times a day. It's not a film anymore, it's a crust, and it's bonded itself into every pore and grain line in the wood or laminate. By the time people actually notice it, usually because a guest runs their hand across it and says something, or because the cabinet color looks noticeably darker than it used to, the buildup has been sitting there for months, sometimes years. That's the part nobody talks about. You're not cleaning a fresh mess. You're cleaning something that's had time to cure onto the surface like a second coat of finish. And here's where people go wrong immediately. Because the grime has had time to set, a light wipe with a damp cloth does nothing, so the instinct is to reach for something stronger. That instinct is exactly what turns a cleaning job into a repair job. The cabinets don't need brute force, they need the right chemistry applied the right way, and most people skip straight past that step because they can't see what they're actually dealing with. Why it happens. The reason grease sticks to cabinets so aggressively comes down to a basic mismatch. Grease is oil-based, and most of what people use to fight it is water-based. Water and oil don't mix. You learned that in a science class and forgot it, but it matters here more than almost anywhere else in your house. When you wipe a greasy cabinet with a wet rag and no cleaner, you're just pushing the oil around. You're not lifting it off the surface because plain water has nothing in it that can grab onto oil molecules and pull them away. That's why a quick wipe down always looks decent for about 10 minutes and then goes hazy again once the moisture evaporates. The grease was never removed, just smeared thin and redistributed. Now add heat and time to that equation. Every time you cook, that grease film gets warmed slightly by ambient heat from the stove, which makes it more pliable and lets it work its way deeper into whatever texture the cabinet surface has: wood grain, laminate seams, the edges around hardware. Cold grease sits on top. Warm grease sinks in. That's why cabinets near the stove are always harder to clean than cabinets on the other side of the kitchen, even if they get wiped down just as often. The finish itself plays a role too. Most cabinets have some kind of top coat: polyurethane, lacquer, conversion varnish, or a factory-applied laminate layer. These finishes are designed to be somewhat non-porous, which is good because it means grease mostly sits on top of the finish rather than soaking into the wood underneath. But that same non-porous quality means aggressive solvents and strong alkaline cleaners, the stuff marketed as cuts grease fast, don't just remove the grime, they start breaking down the finish itself. Because chemically, a strong degreaser doesn't know the difference between kitchen grease and the oils and resins used in the coating. It attacks both. Slowly at first, which is why the damage doesn't show up until you've done it a dozen times. Common mistakes. Mistake 1. Reaching for a degreaser meant for ovens, grills, or shop equipment. I get why people do this. If a cleaner can strip baked-on grease off an oven rack, it feels logical that it'll handle cabinet grease no problem. But those products are formulated to be aggressive on purpose. They're built to eat through carbonized, cooked-on residue on bare metal or ceramic surfaces that don't have a finish to protect. Your cabinets are not bare metal. They've got a coating sitting on top of the wood, and that coating is exactly the kind of surface these heavy-duty degreasers are built to dissolve. Use one on your cabinets a few times and you'll start to see the sheen go patchy, bright in spots, dull in others, because the degreaser is stripping the top coat unevenly, wherever it sat the longest or got the most contact. Mistake 2. Scrubbing with an abrasive pad or the rough side of a sponge. When wiping doesn't work, the natural next move is to scrub harder. People grab a green scouring pad or steel wool or one of those textured microfiber pads that feel gentle but aren't. Any abrasive contact on a finished surface creates thousands of microscopic scratches, even if you can't see them under normal light. Those scratches don't just look bad, they actually make the problem worse long-term, because now you've got a rougher surface with more texture for grease and dust to grab onto. I've seen cabinets that were scrubbed regularly for years end up with a permanent, dull, scratched-up patch right around the handles and edges, exactly where people scrub the hardest. Once that texture damage is in the finish, cleaning gets harder every single time after that, because the surface itself is holding on to grime differently than it used to. Mistake 3. Using way too much water, especially on wood cabinets. This one causes damage that's slower to show up, but often permanent. Wood cabinets, even finished ones, have seams around panel edges, near hinges, along the bottom rail of the door, where moisture can get in if you're soaking a rag and really flooding the surface. Over time, moisture that sneaks into those seams causes the wood to swell slightly, which cracks the finish right along that seam line. Once that crack is there, it's an open door. Every cleaning after that pushes a little more moisture into the same spot. Eventually, you get warping or the finish starts peeling back at the edges like a sunburn. People blame humidity or cheap cabinets, but I've traced this back to overwetting during cleaning more times than I can count. The fix isn't more water, it's controlled moisture, which is a completely different technique than most people are using. But there's one step people always skip, and it's the one that actually determines whether your cabinets come out streak-free or not. I'll get to that in a second. Solution. Here's the method I actually use on real jobs on every finish type: wood, laminate, thermofoil, painted. The steps stay the same, only the cleaner concentration changes slightly depending on how delicate the finish is, and I'll tell you where. Stage 1. Test the finish before you touch anything. Pick a spot that's out of sight, inside a cabinet door or the bottom edge of a lower cabinet. Dab a little of your cleaning solution on there and wait 2 minutes. If the finish looks fine, you're good to proceed on the rest of the cabinets. This takes 30 seconds, and it's the step almost nobody does, and it's exactly the step that saves you from ruining a finish you can't get back. I don't care how many times you've used a product before. Different manufacturers use different top coats, and what worked on your last kitchen might not work on this one. Skip the store-bought degreasers entirely. What actually works without attacking the finish is warm water with a small amount of dish soap, the kind meant to cut grease off dishes, because that's a mild surfactant designed to lift oil without being caustic. About a teaspoon of dish soap per 2 cups of warm water is the ratio I use. For cabinets with heavier buildup, near the stove especially, you can add a small splash of white vinegar, no more than a tablespoon per 2 cups, which helps break down mineral deposits and grime without the harshness of ammonia-based or alkaline cleaners. Never mix vinegar with anything bleach-based, obviously, but on its own in this low concentration, it's safe on almost every sealed finish. Stage 3. Apply with a damp cloth, not a soaked one. This is where the water damage mistake gets fixed. Dip a microfiber cloth in your solution, then wring it out until it's just damp. You shouldn't be able to squeeze any water out of it by hand. Wipe with the grain if it's wood, and use straight, overlapping strokes rather than circles. Circular scrubbing is actually one of the most common causes of streaking because it redistributes grease unevenly instead of lifting it in one direction. Let the cloth do the work. If a spot doesn't come clean on the first pass, go over it again rather than pressing harder. Pressure doesn't remove grease, the soap does. Stage 4. Work in small sections and dry immediately. Don't clean the whole kitchen's worth of cabinets and then go back to dry them. Clean one door, dry it, move to the next. Use a completely separate dry microfiber cloth for this. This is the step people skip, and it's the one that actually determines whether you end up with streaks. If you let the cleaning solution air dry on its own, whatever minerals or soap residue are left behind dry into the surface unevenly, and that's what shows up as streaking under kitchen lighting. Wiping it dry immediately while it's still slightly damp pulls that residue off before it has a chance to set. Stage 5. Handle the grease-heavy zones separately. For the areas right around the stove or the cabinets nearest a fryer or grill if you cook a lot, you'll usually need a second pass. Let your soap solution sit on the surface for about 60 seconds before wiping. Don't scrub it in immediately. That dwell time lets the surfactant actually break the bond between the grease and the finish, so when you do wipe, it comes off in one motion instead of smearing. This is the same principle restaurant kitchens use on their equipment, just scaled down and gentler for a home finish. Stage 6. Condition the wood if it's real wood with a natural or oil finish. Once everything's clean and fully dry, give it a couple hours, not a couple minutes. A small amount of a food-safe wood conditioner or a mineral oil-based cabinet polish helps restore whatever natural oils were pulled out during cleaning, and it gives you a light protective layer against the next round of grease. Apply with a dry cloth a very thin coat and buff it in. You do not need this step on laminate, thermofoil, or painted cabinets. It won't absorb and it'll just leave a filmy residue. Pro tip: keep a dry microfiber cloth hanging on your oven handle and wipe down the cabinets closest to the stove once a week. Just a quick pass, no cleaner needed. Grease that's a week old wipes off with almost nothing. Grease that's 3 months old is what forces you into a deep clean like the one above. I started doing this in my own kitchen after watching how much easier the job was on properties where the cleaning crew did a light weekly pass versus the ones that only got attention once a season. Same cabinets, completely different amount of work. That's the method, the same one I'd use on a job site, just written out for your own kitchen. Test the finish first, use a mild soap solution instead of a harsh degreaser, work in small sections, and dry as you go instead of letting it air dry. Do that consistently, and you'll never deal with the cloudy, streaky look that sends most people shopping for new cabinets years before they actually need them. If you've got a cabinet problem that's more specific than this, a sticky finish that won't come clean, water damage around the sink cabinet, something like that, drop it in the comments. I read through these, and a lot of the videos on this channel started as answers to exactly that kind of question. If this helped, subscribing means you won't miss the next one, where I'm covering how to actually get rid of that sticky residue that builds up around cabinet handles and hinges, which is a different problem than general grease buildup, and it needs a completely different fix. Take care of the finish you've got. It's a lot easier than replacing it.